She said, can you do it in a French accent? I said, I can no, but I can do what turned out to be a bad impression of Jean-Claude Van Damme trying to order drinks in Panama. It was rough. Hello and welcome to Talk Spooky to Me, the Ghost Story Guys mail show. I'm Brennan Storr.
I'm Paul Bestel.
And this is our opportunity to hear from you, our audience. Paul Bestel, my friend, how are you doing?
I'm all right. I can hear again now. The annual 3 weeks of deafening cacophony of Bonfire Night has finally subsided. Mind you, someone was having a full firework display last night, a full week after Bonfire Night, as a last hurrah. And now we can focus on getting trimmed up as quickly as possible for Christmas now.
I can't wait for the Christmas explosions to start.
Well, there is people who like to celebrate Christmas with a firework. New Year's Eve more, because, we don't use clocks in this country.
Who needs clocks when you have explosions? If I could wake myself up with a grenade every morning, I would. If I could just have some sort of elaborate Wallace and Gromit-esque situation set up where firecrackers just roused me from sleep, I'd probably do it. It would take 30 years off my life, but I wouldn't care.
What you've described there is actually known as the John Matrix breakfast.
I hear Green Berets are high in iron.
They certainly are. They certainly are.
Oh, man. Yes. Speaking of classic Schwarzenegger properties, you and I just went to see Predator Badlands. And how great was that? Great fun.
Really good fun. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I love Prey, and I really like this one as well. Obviously, as soon as the synthoid turned up, I was like, So we're going to try and make a proper Alien versus Predator film here, are we? I think we might be down the line. And then obviously there's that news that Sigourney Weaver's said that she would be very interested in coming back as Ripley, as long as we don't let Dickhead anywhere near that franchise. So hopefully she can hang on until Ridley's not allowed to do it, and we can get somebody proper to direct
I predict Ridley's going to be one of those guys who has his body put into a cyborg suit made of jewels and steel. And he will just live forever, refusing to listen to any outside input as he makes increasingly worse films with higher and higher budgets. Well, on this episode, we are not here to attack various legacy artists with strange cosmic torments, although I'm actually kind of considering making a whole other show just for that. Yes. But no, we're not here to do that. We are, in fact, here to answer listener mail.
Our courteous and efficient staff is on call 24 hours a day to serve all your supernatural elimination needs.
We're ready to believe you.
All right, so Paul, we are going to get the tragic news out of the way first. And the only thing that makes me sadder than this news that I'm about to read is the fact that you didn't like Guillermo Del Toro's Frankenstein, which I adored.
Dreadful film. Well, I say film, I gave up after 45 minutes.
So it's like a dreadful episode of a TV show for you.
Yeah, well, I'll never find out what happens, because I'm never going to watch the rest of it, because it was absolutely fucking dreadful.
I adored it. I cannot wait to see it again. I watched it again on Netflix. I saw it in theaters, and then I watched it on Netflix, and I think it's still playing at one of the theaters here. If I have time, I'm going to catch it once more.
Don't let me know where that is. I'll burn it down.
I appreciated how he managed. He made me see with fresh eyes this 200-year-old story. In this story, see myself and my father, both of whom were the result of shitty men who created life for various reasons, but then had no idea what to do with it once it was made. And I enjoyed that. I enjoyed how he made me see sort of the lack of parental care and sort of bad parenting and bad fatherhood in a story that had previously just been kind of a, sort of science fiction horror. I appreciated that.
Good.
All right. Well, again, let's talk about the only thing that can make me sadder than this chasm upon which Paul and I stand on opposite sides.
Even Mia Goth couldn't keep me watching. You don't do that to Mary's story and expect me to sit there and take it.
Well, someone else is going to make us take it, Paul, and we don't really have much of a choice. And that is Snooki. Of course, if you are old enough to have been culturally aware in 2000, whenever the fuck it was, the reality show Jersey Shore was a pox upon our television screens, and now one of the stars of Jersey Shore, of course, which was
Stars?
Well, one of the people who were most frequently on camera in Jersey Shore, Nicole Polizzi, is getting her own ghost hunting reality show here in Canada, because apparently we managed to avoid electing the conservative government, so we have to fuck up our country in other ways. And so this is reading the CTV News report. Ghosts are here. Jersey Shore star Nicole Snooki Polizzi is set to star in a new Canadian ghost hunting series from Crave. Crave is a streaming platform here in Canada. Snooki, Paranormal Rookie, will follow the reality TV star as she ventures to some of Canada's eeriest locations. She'll team up with Kevin Whitaker, one of Canada's most sought-after psychic mediums. I feel like that's a low bar.
Who?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, both of us. We sound like fucking owls trying to figure out who this guy is.
I've learned a lot about owls this week, actually, strangely.
I'm not. I was just reading about owls in Soraya's book as I was editing it. There's a lot of owl talk, but
it's because they're cool.
No argument here. Actually, funny enough, I was watching Red Bar the other day, and it was one of the old episodes, and he was reviewing a clip where Guy Fieri is talking to Joe Rogan, and Fieri's, for whatever reason, you can watch it happen. Rogan just turns off. He's having a conversation with Fieri, and Fieri does something, and he just all of a sudden Red Bar calls it Papa mode. He said Joe just goes into Papa mode where he's done with everything and he wants to go and have a nap. And Fieri tells him this really meaningful story about his dad dying and how, you'll see an owl and you'll know it's me. And then Joe just goes, "Owls are dumb as shit, though." Thank you for your understanding, Thog the Caveman.
Wow. What an insightful opinion.
I know, right? All that ketamine, all that
I can't believe I don't listen to his
all
show.
that psilocybin, it's all paid off.
I'll tell you what we want. We need to see Joe Rogan cage fight a Blakeston's fish owl. That's what we need. Because that's the largest owl on Earth. Yeah, let's see if it's dumb as shit when it's ripped your eyes out, Joe.
But anyways, 2009 was when the first season of Jersey Shore came out. And I assume I don't have to tell you folks what Jersey Shore is. But yeah, so for all you Snooki stands, all you Snooki heads, Snooki Paranormal Rookie will be out in 2026. Snooki says, "I'm scared, I'm excited, and I'm ready to prove I can do this. The ghosts better watch out, because this mama is coming for them." So...
that sounds delightfully tedious.
Watch out, ghosts! Snooki is on the way. I thought we should get this started on a pretty much the worst possible note. I thought if we just we'll start at the bottom and work our way up. Actually, someone commented on Facebook. They sent me this. Was it on Facebook? No, they sent it to me on Instagram. I'm sorry, I don't know who it is because my phone is being used as a webcam right now. But it was one of these stickers from Sheffield about how to tell when you're dreaming. And they said, "What is happening in Sheffield?" So I said, "I will ask Paul." Do you know the story behind that?
Yeah, they're brilliant. No, it's just random. We get them all over. The minute somebody's going around and putting a picture of the Chuckle Brothers on road signs, then it just says, "Every day I'm chuckling."
Okay.
So we do get random stickers that just appear around here, along with people putting QR codes on lampposts saying free weed delivery. It's those types of things. But yes, I have seen that sticker before. It's from about 10 years ago, I think.
Oh, that far back.
Yeah, we've been open-minded very much since that, the summer of the sticker.
Everything changed in the summer of the sticker.
Yeah. Next up, Christos writes, "Hi guys, it's been a while. I'd figured I'd send you an email. I was actually scrolling through my phone for building project photos as I'm an architect, and I ran across a couple of videos of what looked like orbs, or who knows what they were. I don't think they look like bugs or dust. They're from our oldest son's room a couple of years back, and it got me thinking of some of the other stuff that's gone on in our house since we bought it back in 2020. Here's some of the examples. All of us, the wife, me, kids, and the mother-in-law heard footsteps upstairs, audibly, unmistakably heavy. We looked at each other. My wife's eyes were the size of dinner plates. I know no one was there, but I went to check it anyway. Nothing. The baby was in his crib upstairs, and the rest of us were downstairs, and the camera was on the little one, who was sound asleep. We started talking, and then we heard what we thought was him crying out loud. When we looked at the camera, there was nothing. He's just not moving, twitching, nothing. I thought the camera had froze, so I walked up the stairs to check on him, and he was sound asleep. Again, all of us heard that crying, including our oldest. Next, my wife and I were in bed watching the Great British Baking Show. Gets everywhere, that, the Great British Bake Off. We distinctly heard our oldest call out, "Daddy!" clear as a bell. So I walked over to his room, which is a couple of doors away, and no, they were out cold, snoring their heads off. I came back to the room and told the wife, and she was flabbergasted. Then my wife was feeding our oldest, who was then our only child, and I was standing perpendicular to them. We were getting ready to go somewhere, and I told my wife I'd forgotten my watch, so I'd go upstairs to get it. All of a sudden I felt what can only be explained as an index finger run up from the back of my neck to the middle of my head. I freaked out and span around thinking it was a bug, or that I'd grazed the upper cabinet or the pantry door handles, and I wasn't even close to any of them. We've seen what look like shadows move in front of the TV when it's on, and we've noticed a sickly sweet perfume smell, like something my grandmother would wear, come from our oldest son's room by the little armchair he has. And we've heard 3 knocks a few times. All around it's just odd stuff. But sometimes I can't tell if I'm imagining half in it or not. Thanks, guys. Christos.
Well, Christos, thanks for sharing, man. That's really cool stuff. I mean, if other people are hearing it, it seems hard to sort of write it off as kind of you imagining it, especially the one like the kid crying out "Daddy." I mean, that could almost be like crying out in his sleep. In order to sort of be able to sleep myself, that is kind of what I would say.
Yeah.
But if other people are hearing it, then it's sure not imagination. Again, I don't think there's any what's what I'm looking for, mechanism for like shared hallucinations that we're aware of.
No, despite what some people may try and fudge, especially auditory.
Yeah, that's it. Because you could maybe, if you had like an image or something that you were all looking at, and you could maybe all misinterpret it the same way, but to have a spontaneously generated hallucination occur across multiple people, yeah, that is not a thing that happens.
This is very true. I once, in one of our pubs, we had to have a repair from a leaking radiator, okay? And so it had made the wallpaper and plaster behind it drop off to the side a little bit. And after a couple of days, I realised that the image that was behind the radiator reminded me of George Harrison from the Beatles in about 1969. And so I drew a little sign around it and claimed it as the George Harrison shrine. And some of the regulars started leaving offerings there, like 10 pence or a packet of nuts for the George Harrison's shrine. And then a few weeks later, a bit more plaster fell off and it didn't look like George anymore. It was a sad day for us all in the George Harrison shrine community.
I'm sorry for your loss.
I got over it. It's 20 years ago, but we got through it, and I'm here to tell you that anybody listening to this can get through it as well.
Next up, we have a message from Corrigan. Corrigan says, "Hello to you, Brennan and Paul, to your awesome team, and to my fellow listeners. Although I wish to remain anonymous, you may call me Corrigan. I'd like to respond to 2 of Paul's comments and questions from the episode about haunted stories from Ontario. I don't know if someone commented on this in the latest Haunting of Alberta episode. I'm really looking forward to listening to it. But this is an older one then. But the first concerns makeshift dwellings and hidden cabins in Western Canada. I now live in East Souk, a village that has become a remote suburb of Victoria on the west coast of Vancouver Island. However, I travel often and spend nearly all of my time in the forests of British Columbia, Alberta, and the Yukon. Probably to Brendan's great delight. Hey, better you than me, Corrigan. Better you than me. I can confirm that this type of dwelling, including RVs, is indeed widespread, especially along forest service roads or riverbanks in BC and the Yukon, where the land is almost entirely Crown-owned. But it's also common along the eastern slopes of the Alberta Rockies and foothills, a heavily forested area lined with crown land known as a public land use zone, or PLUZ. If not used as seasonal cabins for recreation or hunting, these are often encampments for unhoused individuals or shelters for solitary people. In the Yukon, and especially Alberta, these places have increasingly been targeted for removal in recent years. While wildfire risk is often cited, that reason frequently masks an effort to tighten control over remote areas. For example, since the election of Conservative Premier Danielle Smith in Alberta, regulations have become stricter for the unhoused and anyone seen as an outsider. Surveillance has ramped up, particularly through the use of drones, increased patrols, and some strange citizen watch initiatives, both in cities and in PLUZ zones. Secondly, before I go further, I must give some context. I'm originally from Quebec City and was in the middle of writing my master's thesis in history when a life-changing event occurred. During renovations in my apartment building in 1986, I was exposed to high levels of chemical and biological contaminants, vermiculite, likely asbestos, and neurotoxic black mold, confirmed by air analysis. This ruined my health, but I am now being followed by a mycotoxin illness specialist in BC, though I still have to figure out most remedies by myself. I'm slowly but surely getting back on my feet, but recovery is not yet achieved. And I'm sorry, I misunderstood, Corrigan. I misread your first sentence. Corrigan said, during renovations in my apartment, which was built in 1886. I misread that completely. My apologies. I also used to work for the Ghost Tours of Quebec City, the National Battlefield Commission, and other places with dark pasts. I've known people who lived or worked in historically haunted buildings, and I once lived for almost a year in various locations on the Avalon Peninsula and in St. John's, Newfoundland, in addition to extensive travels in Western Canada. I could speak at length about the impact of mold on the brain and its links to sleep paralysis, but also about the difference between neurotoxic breakdowns and genuinely strange or paranormal experiences and the hypocrisy of hardcore skeptics. I also have countless paranormal stories from Quebec, Newfoundland, and remote corners of the Canadian West, if you in the audience would be open to that. To close, here's a Canadian decapitation story for Paul and any other interested listeners. Paul Pestle, this one's for you.
Hey, good to know the listeners have got me down with my hobbies and interests.
Yes, after the break, we're going to throw some K-pop bangers at Paul and see.
We'll see.
We'll see what he thinks. We got some in the comments.
Okay.
All right, so this is called A Quiet Plot. Quebec, 1608. In the summer of 1608, along the shores of the St. Lawrence River, a new settlement began to take shape under the leadership of Samuel de Champlain. It was not the beginning of a land. That story had long belonged to the first peoples who had lived, traded, and traveled across those territories for generations. But for France, this was the start of something they called New France, what would become the birthplace of what we now know today as modern Canada. Champlain, a captain, navigator, explorer, and cartographer, worked to establish a permanent foothold at the base of Cap Diamant in Quebec's lower town. Yet even within his own small group of settlers, trust would be put to the test. Among the handful of men he depended on, someone was plotting his death. Jean Duval, a locksmith, had grown restless. Along with 3 others, he began to whisper of mutiny, of taking control of the habitation, the stronghold under construction, and first building of the colony, and perhaps selling it to Basque traders. They saw in Champlain not a leader, but an obstacle. The plan was simple: stage a disturbance in the night, catch Champlain off guard, and end him. But one of them, Antoine Natel, could not go through with it. He quietly told Captain Testu what was coming. Champlain played strategically and did not confront any of the men. Instead, he invited them aboard a ship anchored in the harbor. It was presented as a gathering, perhaps to raise morale, perhaps to celebrate. But once aboard, the trap was sprung. The conspirators were encircled and arrested without resistance. Duval was tried, not in a formal court, as the settlement was too young for a proper hearing, but under the authority Champlain held as the colony's leader, granted by the king's benediction. During this first trial of the colony, Duval was sentenced to death and hanged. His head was then placed on a stake at the edge of the settlement, on top of the wooden ramparts, as a grim signal to others. The remaining conspirators were sent back to France for judgment. No blood was shed in battle, no gunfire rang out, but in this early chapter of Canada we find a reminder that even here, law and loyalty would be tested. Today few speak of Jean Duval. There is no plaque bearing his name, no monument to the failed plot. But the wind still brushes the old stone foundations of the habitation's ruins, which we can all visit beneath the Notre Dame de Victoire Church in Place Royale Square. And if you stand there just long enough, You might sense it. Not a ghost, perhaps, but a faint memory lingering just beneath the surface. The weight of choices made in a time met sometimes in hope, sometimes in tension. And in that quiet, where river and land meet, the past lingers, not as myth, but as memory. If you enjoyed this story, let me know if you'd like more, whether it's about the strange connections between mold and perception, or more eerie and lesser-known tales from across Canada. Corrigan, that was cool as shit. Please do send more stuff like that.
Absolutely. I'm always interested in things like that.
I tell you what, man, this is some free advice from your uncles Brennan Paul here at the Ghost Story Guys. If you're planning on killing someone and he suddenly invites you to a party, don't fucking go.
See, if they'd only read about Vlad the Impaler, they would know that was one of the oldest tricks in the book.
Yeah. You do it at one Thanksgiving, no one ever comes back.
Yes, one of the strange things about Hitler is not many people are aware that the Nazis executed around 20,000 people by guillotine.
I didn't know that.
Till the end of the Second World War. From the Weimar Republic falling and Hitler taking control of Germany and then Austria, there was around 20,000 people who were executed by guillotine.
I'll be damned.
And contrary to popular opinion and urban myth, they didn't make people lay face up. They did it the normal way, which is obviously facing away from the blade.
I mean, that's something, but I feel at that point it's a matter of degrees.
Well, the Greeks and the Romans thought it was the most honourable way to execute someone. No, they had very strange thoughts about a lot of things, the Greeks and the Romans, didn't they? I mean, let's be honest. Should we really be paying attention to people who made lead pipes for water?
I mean, yeah, that's fair. I don't know. It seems like people will do this. They'll come up with an arbitrary reason for a thing they like to be the best thing. It's like when people say, I prayed and God told me to do exactly what I wanted to do in the first place. Oh, did he? How about that? Yeah. I prayed on it and God reinforced all my pre-existing biases. What luck?
I mean, we always have a conversation about if I want to do something, we'll sit down, discuss it, and then we'll both realise I'm right.
Yeah. No, that's exactly it. Yep. You may as well ask God, right?
So yes, the history of decapitation is a strange one. So it seems even Bigfoot is a fan of it.
Wait, what?
Well, the Nahanni Valley.
Oh, right, of course, in Northwest Territories or the Yukon?
Yeah. It's Yukon, isn't it?
I don't know. I'm asking you.
I think it's the Yukon. I don't think it's as far up as the Northwest. That's a brilliant, Corrigan. Stuff like that I absolutely live for. I love weird and wonderful stories. And obviously with it being Champlain as well, there's a cryptid link there.
Oh, well, what's that?
Lake Champlain.
Oh, Champ.
Champ.
Right. That's down in Oregon?
No, other side. It's Vermont, New York.
That's it.
It straddles both states.
Of course.
He found that on his way through.
I can't wait to go get my head cut off. Well, but on the way.
Look at this beautiful lake.
One of the, and yes, for the record, I know it wasn't Champlain who got his head cut off. It's just funnier my way. One of the scripts that I narrated at the film festival was The Last Trial. It's about Louis Riel, basically. And of course, Louis Riel was a pivotal figure in Canadian history. He was a Métis leader. And the thing that caught me was, like I said, I had to narrate this on stage, and so many of the names are French. And like I've taken a bunch of Duolingo French, but my pronunciation for names is still garbage. And one of the names that I nearly choked on my own tongue trying to say was Ambroise de Dime Lepin. And I know we have French listeners right now who just pissed themselves in laughter at my attempt to say this. But you should have, literally the first time I said it, I thought I was going to have a stroke. I was looking up each individual name, and it was a horror show.
I've always found the French really like it if you say their language with a really thick British accent.
Well, during the rehearsal, the guy who was going to voice Louis Riel, he was late. So, and we had a limited number of cast members. So the woman organizing it said, Brennan, can you read Louis Riel in addition to the narrator? And I'm like, I can. She said, can you do it in a French accent? I said, I can do it. No. But I can do what turned out to be a bad impression of Jean-Claude Van Damme trying to order drinks in Panama. It was rough. I sounded like Jean-Claude Van Damme just after that guy punched him out. So, like, if Jean-Claude Van Damme was trying to speak Spanish as he was fading out from being punched in the head, that's what I sounded like. All right. Well, as you guys kind of sit with that image for a minute, and I'm going to recover from having to relive memories of trying to do a French accent in front of a group of people. We're going to take a quick break for some ads, and we'll be right back.
Next, Brian on YouTube says, "Dude, you rock. I found you from Soraya's Where Did the Road Go? I've heard you for many episodes, and not until the last one did you mention your podcast. And it's great. Please advertise more next time, but also consider checking out Strange Familiars with Mr. Tim Renner."
Thank you, Brian. That's very kind. And in fact, I was inspired by you saying this to, when I was on the most recent episode of Where Did the Road Go that just came out for patrons. I mentioned the show like 16 times. So I would really appreciate you reminding me to do that. So I very much did that. And, yeah, and of course, very familiar with Tim Renner. I've never met him personally, but, I definitely know of him through the podcasting grapevine.
Mm-hmm.
He was actually picked up. He was one of the shows that was picked up by Spectrovision a little while back. Him and, of course, what's her name? Oh, Joe from Modern Fairy Sightings. She was also picked up by Spectrovision.
And Ryan.
Oh, was Ryan as well?
Yeah, Ryan was the first big one.
Ah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, class acts all around from what I'm told. I mean, I've met, I don't think I've ever actually met Ryan. We've been doing this so long that I feel like I've known him, but he's, he's a good dude from what I'm told.
Yeah, he's a lovely, lovely man. Man that got me back into ufology.
No small thing. All right, so next up, we're going to sell Paul on some K-pop bangers. So, Paul, fire up YouTube. Get ready. I'm going to feed you some titles.
Okay. I don't know why. I've just put YouTube in, and then the next thing underneath it that's come up says, "Do you have to disclose a murder?" Anyway.
What?
I don't know why that's come up. Anyway. I must have been sleep typing. Anyway, right, ready.
We didn't get a ton of K-pop recommendations, but we got a couple. So the first comes from Angela on YouTube. Angela says, "I watched K-pop Demon Hunters to see if my kids would like it. I wanted to not like it. I tried not to like it, but it is so good. The song Golden is a true banger. Give it a try. I don't usually care for K-pop, but these girls' voices are really great, and the beats are infectious in a good way."
I think I know this song, and it makes my teeth hurt. Yeah, I absolutely hate that song.
Okay, so Angela, that's one down. Luckily, Angela says it's okay not to like it. Music is really personal. She goes on to say, "I was at the 1992 Lollapalooza Fest, and that was my core music, so I'm not the norm. That was a great time to have ears."
What I will say is, I think that's a great tune until they start singing.
Okay.
I hate that voice. It sounds so strained, like they're singing right at the absolute peak of their ability. It just sounds awful.
Okay, all right. So that's a no for Paul. So we're gonna try.
That's been number one here.
Oh, it doesn't surprise me.
So yeah, it's everywhere, that song.
Yeah, that movie is cleaned up. Usually, a film going to theaters kind of creates buzz for it when it hits streaming. They've sort of discovered that. K-pop Demon Hunters is a rare exception where releasing it to streaming first made it a phenomenon on the big screen. Completely unprecedented. I still haven't seen it. I haven't heard any of the music. I'll watch it at some point. Not a high priority, as you can imagine. But yeah. So next up.
Yeah. Sorry, everybody.
Yeah, no, we're 0 for 1, but that's okay. We got one more from Mel on Spotify. Mel says, "Paul, longtime BTS fan here, and a fanatic of K-pop. I invite you to listen to Mic Drop from BTS. I don't believe it's going to turn you, but whenever I can share my BTS boys with someone, I will. Hope at the very least it doesn't make you hate K-pop. Have a great day, guys. Love your show."
Mic Drop by BTS. Now, BTS were the K-pop band that made me burst out laughing the first time I heard them singing.
Okay.
With that mega hit they had, because that's the same. It sounds so strained vocally. That's why I don't like it. 30 seconds of that's 32 seconds too long.
Okay. All right. We are 0 for 2 on Paul and K-pop bangers. Bummer. So I'm gonna throw you a curveball before we go on to our next emails. I want you to check out Tetoris. Tetoris. This is J-pop. This is not K-pop. But I love this song by Hiragi Magnetite.
That's better than K-pop.
All right, we got him closer. We're in the Pacific region. We are inching closer to Korea at the very least.
You see, I'd love to visit South Korea. I think it looks an extremely fascinating place. I love Korean cinema. I've just not heard that song. But then again, like Angela says, it's not really my thing. Well, it is. I suppose it is, because I do love banging pop songs, and I've not heard one. They will be there. But, no. Honestly, if I never hear Golden again, it'll be too soon.
The fire of K-pop cannot yet melt Paul's icy heart, but we will not give up hope. Send us more K-pop bangers.
I would like to like something of it. It's not like Bollywood, which is completely irrelevant,
Completely irrelevant? That's a bold statement. Jesus.
That's another way. See, I had people say, "Oh, Bollywood's amazing." I've never seen a Bollywood film I've got past 15 minutes in.
Really?
Yeah. I just think they're just too silly.
Did you watch Triple R?
I don't want to waste any more of my life.
Oh man, Triple R is so good. Well, I'm going to send you at least a song that you'll like. Okay, maybe I don't want to watch all 3 hours of Suryavanshi, but this song changed my life. I am Paul Bestel in this moment, and this song made me grow hair in places I did not know I could grow hair. So I'm sending it now.
Okay.
Folks, this is a theme to the film Suryavanshi.
Well, I think it's funny. Is that the right response?
He is unmoved by Suryavanshi. He is unreachable by man or God.
That's the kind of song I'd expect to hear in Mario Kart.
Mario Kart wishes it could roll like that.
At least I got to 51 seconds there.
Well, that's something.
No,
I'm not a huge Bollywood fan. I know when there was, so obviously, as everyone knows, I go to the movie theater quite a bit. And when the strike hit last year, there was a real drought of movies to see. So I ended up watching a lot of Bollywood stuff that I ordinarily would not have. And so, yeah, I had seen Suryavanshi before, but because it's part of this thing, it's the Rohit Shetty cop universe. So there's a bunch of like interconnected, kind of like Avengers, like 3-hour-long, slightly problematic cop movies set in India.
Who are the baddies in their films?
Oh, let's not dwell on that. Let's not dwell on that. Yes. Oh my.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Yep. Woof.
Once again, there'll be something out there, Brennan, that will be amazing, and I'll love it, but I've yet to find it.
Well, there's a great moment in Suryavanshi, and again, most people don't watch it. If you really like action movies, watch it, and war as well. Bahubali, Pathan, like really great stuff. But boy, you got to parse that for some shit. Yeah. But problematic doesn't even begin to describe it. But anyways, there's a great moment where another character turns up in Suryavanshi. He also had his own movies, and the villains go, "Who is that?" And Suryavanshi says, "God with a gun," and it just makes the film. We don't really make movies like that anymore, because they're stupid. But India is kind of like their action cinema is where ours was in sort of like the 80s and 90s, which means they rip ass. They just also have a lot of songs and really problematic shit in them. Mind you, I guess if you look at the films from the 80s, so did those. So
did they? I don't remember.
Oh,
that.
let's ask.
I just remember full-on patriotism.
Yeah, well, funny enough, that is what is also in Suryavanshi and all those other films.
Whenever I watch Rambo 3, I think of those uplifting soldiers of Al-Qaeda that they thanked. And the Mujahideen.
Not in the theatrical not in the video version over here anymore.
It's still in ours.
Yeah, I think now it just says to the gallant people of Afghanistan. It does not mention the Mujahideen.
And our friend Osama.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Anyway, moving on from our international incident.
Yes, yeah, we're coming back from a lengthy edit wherein Paul and I were talking about some of the things that are in those movies I just mentioned. All right, so next up is Amanda. Amanda says, I just started listening to your podcast and I am obsessed. You guys make my day at work so much better. I'm not sure this counts as paranormal, but I can't explain it any other way. I'm a type 1 diabetic, so is my oldest sister, and so is my father. My father had gotten into a car accident years ago because of low blood sugar and crashed his car trying to pick up my sister. He cracked the steering wheel with his chest. Never wore a seatbelt at that time, but walked away with only a small cut on his head when he hit the windshield. Oh, wow. One day in 2014, about 2 years after my dad died, I was driving home from work, but my blood sugar was very low. I knew I was low, but couldn't do anything other than keep driving. I remember getting on the highway and getting off, but don't remember much after that. I drove past the street where I live, turned left, and went through a traffic light. I don't know if it was green or red. The last thing I remember thinking is, oh, this is how my dad must have felt when he crashed into the guardrail. I woke up back a few minutes later and realized I was pulled over on the side of the road with my flashers on. I was able to drive home with no trouble after that. I don't have an explanation for it other than thanks, Dad. Yeah, I don't have an explanation either, Amanda, but I'm certainly glad you made it home okay. Blood sugar is not something to fuck around with, man.
No, obviously, diabetes is something I'm well attuned to. Not personally, but through family and spousal relationships. So I always find that kind of intriguing because that's one of those things that you can't fudge your way through it, because when it gets you, that's it. You know, all bets are off. And so if it happens whilst you're doing anything like operating machinery or driving, then there for the grace of God go you. So that's sounds to me like someone took over the wheel and parked you up there.
Yeah, I think so. Whenever this topic comes up, you know, blood sugar out of control. My grandmother was a type 2 diabetic, my maternal grandmother. But I went to school with a young woman who was, I think, a type 1 diabetic, went to high school with her. And she didn't make it past college. Her blood sugar, I don't know exactly what happened. I don't know the story, so I won't speculate, but it was somehow unmanaged. And because she was living alone in a dorm, no one thought to look for her. And she did not survive. And it's that fast, man. You know, you gotta take care of yourself. I'm not talking to you specifically, Amanda, just in general, you know. It's the body keeps score, and when it decides it needs something, man, it needs it, and you gotta fucking listen.
Absolutely. So yeah, thank you for sharing that, and thankful you got through it in mostly one piece. Our next message is from Tracy, and Tracy says, "Hi Paul, I'm wondering if you'll go and see Simply Red in Sheffield. I was looking to see if they were coming to Australia, but sadly they're not. But I'm not sure they're your genre. I love the ghost stories, but especially the legends like Sasquatch and anything pop culture you talk about. Plus, I really do hope there are aliens and they're going to come and save us from ourselves. You have an all-round interesting and hilarious podcast. Lots of love, Tracy in the land of Oz." You're waiting for me to say something shitty there, aren't you?
No, I have no feelings about Simply Red one way or another.
What I will say is, Mick Hucknall is one of the greatest male vocalists of the last 40 years. I think Simply Red's first album is a beautiful working class soul album, and I think most of their early output, mid to late 80s, showed a real quality of vocal and of songwriting and stuff. I'm not very keen on much they've done since that. However, he is a bit of a charmer, isn't he? He's a bit of a dirty bugger, is old Mick. I think he once bragged about sleeping with over 3,000 women.
Oh, yikes.
But he's also a massive dyed-in-the-wool socialist and a proper working class hero.
Yeah, he wants to make sure everyone gets the dick.
Yes, he's not fussed. He wants everybody to have a bit of the Mick. And good for him. But he's a very socially conscious. He's not one of them who likes to talk about it whilst he sits in his Caribbean island drinking champagne. He gives a lot of money away to charity and supports a lot of marginalised communities. So he's a good bloke, is Mick Hucknall. And he's never tried to move out of the UK despite how much tax he has to pay, because he knows his tax does good things. So while some people may think he's quite problematic and a bit oversexed, it could be worse.
It sounds like Jordan Butler's got some real competition here.
Oh, absolutely, yes. But yeah, one of the best voices of British music in the last 40 years. And I, regardless of whether you like Simply Red or not, you can't tell me Mick Hucknall can't sing, because he can.
All right, so that's a no on the. Did you go see Simply Red? But you have respect for them.
I have musical respect. Well, this is the thing. It's Mick Hucknall is Simply Red.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Because everybody who's in Simply Red now wasn't in it when it started. They've all been sacked.
Right.
Because one of them was from Sheffield, I think.
Who
ended up forming a band who had a mega hit, who were called Grace? The song's called You're Not Alone. Like a big clubby dance anthem that came out sort of late 90s. Massive hit in the UK. Never really did anything after that. But we accidentally saw them on a tour for a $5 with Republica and AudioWeb.
Well, there you go, Tracy. Say no such luck. But Paul is with you on Aliens and a mutual respect for Simply Red. Thank you for listening. Terry says, "Hi guys, I've been in such a funk lately. Our country is being run by an insane realtor whose unnecessary tariffs have put my partner out of business. But I was listening to the Stay Creepy Quebec episode where Paul was describing the UFO cult and the fact that they made people check out their body parts with a mirror. When Paul erupted into laughter after talking about that, I couldn't help but laugh along with him. This pulled me out of my bad mood instantly. Thanks for that." Hey Terry, whatever we can do to help you, I'm happy we could do it. And yeah, the Raelians, those guys are lunatics. So at the very least, they've given us something to chuckle about.
If you can't be with them, laugh at them. That's what I say about the Raelians.
No, that's exactly it. So, chin up, Terry. It'll eventually be okay. Eventually, someone is going to join the choir invisible, and in the infighting that happens afterwards, theoretically, sanity should have an opportunity to grab the reins.
Last up, we have a message from Paul D. And Paul says, "Hey fellas, I've just listened to the latest show in Cape Verde, and as usual, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I've been very fortunate since I retired 2 years ago to be able to do a fair amount of travelling with my wife, and I've listened to you guys in my home country of the UK, plus Finland, the Seychelles, Egypt, Zanzibar, from where I sent my last email. Worst gig that I ever went to, the Dead Fingers Talk supporting Whitesnake. You may remember it. We do, Paul. Mauritius, and now Cape Verde. Whilst away, I always like to research cryptids, spooks, mysteries, UFOs, etc. of each destination I'm visiting, but I've pretty much drawn a blank on Cape Verde, apart from some stories relating to the Tafarel conservation camps set up in the 1930s by the Portuguese colonialists. My question is, does the combined might of your intellect know of any stories, myths or legends relating to this isolated group of little islands? I'd be really interested with what you come up with. I'm off to Iceland in 3 weeks, where I know it will be a damn sight easier to find tales of myths and legends, and I'll also be tuning in to the Ghost Story guys whilst I'm there. So that will be the 8th different country I've listened to you in 2 years. This has got to be some sort of record. Keep up the exceptional work, fellas. Paul."
And Paul sent us a follow-up, because that's quite an old message. I've been hanging on to that one for a while. And he sent us a follow-up where he was indeed in Iceland. He says, "Hey fellas, it's your most widely traveled listener reporting in from Iceland. In the picture, I'm listening to your latest episode, fabulous as ever, whilst landing in a helicopter near a geothermal spring in Thingvellir. And I couldn't help but wonder why you've not done an episode, unless I've missed it, on this quirky little lump of volcanic rock in the North Atlantic. After spending a few hours in the company of a local storyteller last night, Iceland is overflowing with ghosts, shapeshifters, lake monsters, and high strangeness. Seems like just the thing you guys like. Best wishes, Paul, currently wearing 5 layers of clothing." And Paul included a photo of his phone playing Ghost Story guys. And Paul, I gotta say, this is not how I thought I would get back to Iceland, but I'm happy I at least got back there.
Yet to visit.
Oh, you'll love it, dude. It's just gorgeous. Again, I haven't been in, it'll be 20 years next year, but I think about it once a week at least. It was just one of the most incredible places I ever had the opportunity to visit.
I'm sure I will, because I love the Scandinavian outlook, and I love their myths and legends, and Iceland is front and centre when it comes to strangeness in regards to some of the stories from there. So absolutely. But that must, I'm not sure, have any of our other listeners listened to us on a glacier?
Let us know. ghoststoryguys@gmail.com. Have you listened to us in 8 different countries? I haven't listened to us in 8 different countries. Mind you, I don't make a habit of listening to my own podcast, but that's beside the point. Yeah, so Paul D, who sent us the message, Paul B, who is here looking at me, he found this called 10 Folktales from Cape Verde by Elsie Clues Parsons. And if I remember, I'm going to email this link to you. You can read it for free on JSTOR. It's 9 pages? Yeah, 9 pages from the Journal of American Folklore. And it is dated enough that we're not going to read it verbatim on air.
Yes, please take into consideration its age and when it was printed. We do not share the views or the terms used within it.
Oh, man. I'm reading for patrons chapter by chapter Hans Holzer's Ghosts I've Met, and I've already it was published in 65, and I've already had to sort of tap dance around some stuff. Maybe tap dance was the wrong word, but I've had to, navigate some language, shall we say.
I think it's more disturbing when it's that modern.
Sure.
I think if it's anything post-civil rights in America, then you just shake your head about it, you know? But like I told you about being able to buy certain Agatha Christie books with certain titles up well into the 80s here in the UK, and you look back and you just laugh. You think, really? Really? Oh, it's all woke nonsense. Whoa, you're a snowflake. Well, no, not particularly. I just don't think we should use racially offensive terms to sell thrillers, if I'm honest.
What a crazy idea.
You know, Queen Victoria's been long gone. Smooth on, lads.
We had a great comment from April on the most recent chapter of Ghosts I've Met on Behind the Paywall. She says, "Ugh, Hans Holzer was such a pretentious asshat. Your interruptions make it great, though." And he really was a pretentious asshat, man. Oh God, reading these stories, I'm like, Jesus Christ. He's one of those guys. Originally, I thought, I bet he'd be like a cool guy to have sat down with. No, I would have leapt across the table and plunged his face into his chowder and left him there until the bubbles stopped.
He's no Peter Underwood.
All right, well, that is our show for tonight. Thank you to everyone who wrote in. Of course, we love reading your comments, your questions. We are so behind with email. We have so many things waiting for next episode, but please keep sending it. We love hearing from you guys. We love the comments, questions. You can comment on Spotify. You can comment on YouTube. Email us at ghoststoryguys@gmail.com. We're on Facebook as The Ghost Story Guys. I finally started a group. There's lots of cool shit happens in there. And of course, you can sign up to our Patreon. You can click the link in the show notes or head to patreon.com/ghoststoryguys. That gets you access to early ad-free release. You also get bonus shows like me reading famed asshat Hans Holzer's Ghosts I've Met, along with bonus conversations between myself and Paul, one of which we're going to be recording after we record this. So lots of cool stuff. And again, you get all of that by clicking the link in the show notes or heading to patreon.com/ghoststoryguys. Or I suppose you can also become a friend of the cabin on Apple Podcasts. Paul, my friend, where can everyone find you online?
You can find Mysteries and Monsters across most social media platforms and all podcast sites.
Fabulous. I'm Largely the Truth on Threads, Instagram, Blue Sky, and Letterboxd. You can find my horror fiction show Fear Daily everywhere fine podcasts live, and you can hear me narrating Ruth Roper Wild's These Haunted Times Volume 5 on Audible. And Volume 6 is in the process of recording. I've done about 80 pages so far, so that should be hitting stores sooner rather than later. And again, that's me reading These Haunted Times Volume 5 by Ruth Roper Wild. You'll find that on Amazon. And of course, it would hardly be an episode of Talk Spooky without a song. On tonight's episode, we are so pleased to present a brand new musical guest, and that is the extraordinary Ruby Tingle. Coming out of Manchester, Ruby is not only a brilliant composer, lyricist, musician, and singer. She is also an award-winning multimedia artist. Her latest EP, Loveland, released by No Such Thing Records, has been dropping slowly throughout October and November, and on this episode we are going to be playing for you the track Slime, which was only just recently released and is so freaking good. Ruby's Bandcamp page describes Loveland as a personal exploration of her pan and demisexuality, fusing electronica with European and cinematic influences to create junkyard flamenco. And folks, this is really good stuff. I don't think we've ever played anything like it here on the show, and I am beyond pleased to be able to share it with you. If you like what you hear, you can find more from Ruby by following the link in the show notes, or by searching for Ruby Tingle wherever you get your tunes. And finally, Paul and I just want to say thank you all for listening. It's an uncertain time right now. I know we keep saying that, and it's because it just keeps on being true. But we are deeply honored to still be part of your lives, to still be part of your media diet, and we wish you all the best. Take care of each other, folks. It's the only way we get through any of this. All right. Well, Paul and I will be back next week with episode 228, which will be, of course, This Haunted Life, Part 4. So you got plenty of time to catch up on parts 1 to 3 if you're new to the show. But until then, we will leave you with Ruby Tingle and Slime.